When you go and see a show or a performance, a set designer is responsible for everything you see in front of you. But the basic structure of the set, he's worked with the director beforehand to produce. In this case, there was no original script, so I went away and read Jane Eyre. Then I meet with Sally and we talk about what we think it's about. She has some ideas, I have some ideas, then I go away again and I build those ideas up, sometimes starting with sketches and then building a model. So the important thing is when the director and designer are working together is that at a certain point, just conversation about what you think somebody's going to look like is not very useful. You have to physically produce something. You kind of want to provide the director and the cast with a playground. So you kind of, that's why it's wooden. If the set is a kind of light wood, that just felt kind of right for it. So I thought, well, we'll make everything out of that. And then we started to make different areas and go, so they were travelling along corridors, then we added other things from above.
I wanted a set that was going to allow the actors to look as though they were working really hard, to show Jane's sort of struggle, if you like. You know, she has to go through so much during the story, and I wanted to kind of manifest that somehow in the design.
Sally likes shows to be very physical, so a lot of what a person's feeling and the story and the emotion is reflected in what they do physically. One
of the ladders they nicknamed the ladder of death because it is vertical. And climbing up a vertical ladder onto a very high platform, especially when you're in a corset and a petticoat and another skirt on top, is really difficult. And they scurry up and down it and make it look very easy, but it's not. It's really tricky and very, very hard physically. But that was an important part of it. The window sequences, which are a key part of our adaptation. She just desires experience, life experience. She wants to get out into the world. That frustration comes from her looking out of that window and seeing the possibilities, and that's why we put those window moments in. Thornfield is almost a character in itself, and lighting was important in that. I remember in rehearsals we were trying to think about, you know, how do we show Jane's delight and curiosity when she gets to Thornfield, and all those chapters when she, as a sort of solitary figure in the house, explores the different areas of Thornfield on her own. And I wanted to sort of really pique the imagination of the audience. It took quite a long time before we came up with the idea for the handheld lights. So Aideen brought in some handheld lights because I thought I'd like to try what it's like with just using light to create the atmosphere of Thornfield, and she brought in these handheld lights, and I asked the actors to just start playing around with them, and it suddenly worked, and that's how we came up with the, you know, creating the inside of Thornfield.